Really, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining me. And I know you have a very busy schedule today. Just a few words about me. My name is Heracles Diamateris. I have the honor and privilege of being the co-editor and publisher of the National Herald, Ethnikos Kyrikas, the two leading Greek American publications in North America and the Greek diaspora at large. Thank you so much for taking the time with your busy schedule to speak to our outlet and by extension, the Greek American and Cypriot American communities. Thank you, sir.
You're quite welcome. I've always had an extremely long and fruitful and close relationship with the Greek community, and I look forward to continuing that.
Well, thank you very much for saying that. Mr. Mayor, just to jump right into things, there's a great appreciation of what you've been doing for the city from our community. There are a few topics that we'd like to get to today. And the first one I would like to discuss is, you were discussing your roots with the Cypriot and the Greek American communities. I was just wondering, I know that a lot of the more outward facing members of the community might be in real estate or they might be in the entertainment and dining industries. I was wondering of course, for them as well, but for small business owners in the community, could you speak a little bit about what New York City, especially in a post-pandemic world, can help small business owners continue to thrive in New York, not look elsewhere, and even expand their operations within New York?
No, so true. And this is really not new. When I say not new, small businesses for immigrant communities. We are who we are because of the large number of immigrant communities in general that come to this country and realize that ownership, hard work would allow you to grow and reach your dreams. But nothing, I don't think any communities personifies that more than Greek Americans. And ever since the 1800s, when the Greek community has they have mastered the art of small businesses and everything from the extremely famous Greek diners to real estate to was something many people don't even realize, but education. Greek community is extremely successful in focusing on education, using their religious belief as the foundation to get that done. And right now, we have more small businesses in this city and the history of the city. Many of them started under my administration when we did different things such as the Small Business Opportunity Fund, and we funded over thousands, small businesses with 80% of the loans targeting to struggling women, minority-owned businesses. And we knew that at the heart of small businesses is public safety. That's why we zeroed in on the shoplifting that you saw in the city. We drilled in on the quality of life. And when you look at how we have been continuing to drive down crime in this city, it shows how businesses will grow if you create a safe environment. And lastly, the city agencies must be user friendly. And historically, our agencies have been extremely challenging to navigate. Deputy Mayor Maria Torres Springer, she zeroed in on looking at fines. Some of the fines we gave cure periods to, others we took off the books altogether. We had a different approach to say that businesses are welcome here. This is the Empire State, and this is where we build empires. And so by the team improving the business environment and doing business in the city, of course, one of the major entities like the Greek community is going to benefit from that. And that's what you're seeing right now.
I appreciate that very much, Mr. Mayor. And I just want to circle back to something you mentioned just before of the Greek American community being a force in the educational sector. I just want to kind of expand on that a little bit. I know that, earlier this year, not that it's a new issue in New York, as anybody who lives in the city or around the city understands that, it's always a bit challenging trying to find that right budget and keep everybody happy. With the Department of Education, for example, it was a little challenging earlier in the year, but your administration was able to fund it the way that it's supposed to be funded. And I know that there is more efforts in that space regarding education in New York City, and as it pertains, especially to our communities with the Greek Americans and the Cypriot Americans. Is there any emphasis, understanding that, of course, that New York is a city of immigrants, as our country is a country of immigrants. Is there any emphasis or any sort of initiative in those public school budgets for bilingual education?
No, and that's so important. And as you started out stating that some of the challenges we had when we had a $5 billion migrant and asylum seeker crisis we were addressing, and sunsetting dollars for many of those educational programs, the previous administration put those programs in place with the full understanding that the dollars was going to sunset. They were COVID dollars and they were disappearing in 2024. We made smart decisions at the beginning of this administration by telling every agency you have to do what everyday New Yorkers are doing. You have to balance your books. You have to make sure you find efficiency. As New Yorkers are struggling, we cannot be extremely loose in how we spend taxpayers' dollars. And we were able to do that. And because we took those efficiencies early, we were able to save the vital services. Everyone got ahead of the process, and I kept saying, let's allow the process to take its course. When they heard how we were going to balance the budget, they just sort of jumped the gun and said, "Okay, you're going to be harmful to schools." Instead of this is part of the negotiation process, and as we saw, we were able to keep in place those vital programs and still find $7 billion in savings in the city. And one of the vital programs that's important to us is bilingual education, because you're right. This is a city of immigrants. It's a city now with 207,000 migrants and asylum seekers. We have to speak the multiple languages, particularly for our children. And so our project Open Arms represents a coordinated effort to do just that. It is to say to our public school division, we want to support new students and particularly those in temporary housing. And this includes help with school enrollment, how to navigate the process. There are multiple programs to support English language learners. We're very excited about them. And what we do need, what many people don't understand, these new language programs are going to need people that speak the languages. We have a shortage of teachers that are that can speak multiple languages. So we want to encourage the Greek community and other communities to assist us in our dual language program and getting dual language program teachers and students so that students can get the care that they need. And that's what's important. I will hope that you will use your platform to send the message out. We are hiring. And those who speak the Greek language, Spanish language, and the other West African languages. We want them to be part of our team to prepare our children for the future.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We'll make sure to spread the word that it's super important, and obviously it means a lot to me because I personally am the son of two immigrants from Greece.
Mm.
Proud son of two immigrants. So you actually have a perfect segue into what I wanted to ask you next, and that is, so we are seeing what you just said, shortages in the linguistics positions that you just discussed. But there's also a shortage of highly skilled workers and laborers that help to build our city, our infrastructure, making a New York tick, if you will. Like the subway is, the artery system of the city, and we that's what we grow up on in New York. And I know that part of the way, part of the problem with the aging infrastructure, it's not just a New York problem, as you well know, it's a national problem that got better with the bipartisan infrastructure law. I'm just wondering, in addition to the teachers that there might be a shortage of, is there any possibility that at a city level, or is this more of a state and federal level, that you would be that your administration would be open to um, like a worker visa type situation? I know that they have certain projects such as, roving teams of workers within the European Union. I was just wondering if you think that something like that could help alleviate, first of all, a teaching shortage. I know that there's a tremendous shortage with nurses and healthcare providers, but also just the fundamental folks who keep New York running, whether that be your plumbers or contractors or highly skilled engineers who maybe don't have that opportunity in New York and Cyprus, and they're more than willing to pay their fair shares. They just want a foot in the door.
Good television there because you're hitting it right on the mark. It's unfortunate when you see 207,000 migrants and asylum seekers come here to pursue the American dream like your parents did and so many of our ancestors, same thing. And that's the biggest irony of the migrant and asylum seeker crisis. We need workers. We need people in the racing industry in Kentucky. They want workers. We need food service workers, construction workers. We need more teachers, more nurses. You tell me the industry, and I would tell you the level of shortage we have in having qualified, well-trained workers. And the infusement of my immigrants is what really improves the economy, from their personal spending to being willing to pick up the jobs that many don't want to take. And that's the story of the immigrant experience. And when you pursue an American dream, it is rooted in the dignity of work. And so I'm troubled that the federal government uh, we're still far short on what we could do. We should allow those who want to work, they should have the right to work. Because we're not seeing the same crisis from the Ukrainian new arrivals. They're given authorization to work. So if you could work from Ukraine, you should be able to do it from West Africa, South America, Central America, Venezuela, Ecuador, Mexico. It makes no sense that we can't hire lifeguards when we have people who can swim and will carry out the function. And so
Right.
we can't give the work visa from the city level. We have to get the number from the federal level. I wish we could. We can't even allow people to volunteer and give them a stipend. The federal government said that's against the law. So until they free that up, we're in this constant battle to find the workers and give people the right to pursue the American dream.
Right, and of course that difficulty, that roadblock, if you will, I'm sure contributes to soaring costs because if the supply pool is shorter, folks can upcharge the government, and your point is very well taken. Now that we were just talking about the Greek American community and what they sort of, as you correctly noted, my folks came separately in the 60s and the 70s. They went through the whole process of immigration, like millions and millions of other people throughout American history. And I guess as the co-editor and publisher of this publication that's been around since 1915, that's been around for a long, long time, 109 years. I guess in order to further communicate your message, I guess to our readers, we know about your close ties to the Greek community. We wanted just to gauge, like, what is your relationship with the Greek American community? What is your relationship with some of the leaders of the community, elected or otherwise, like Archbishop Ilpidophoros, or elected officials in and around New York. Who are your friends within the community, so our readers might know.
Oh, it goes far and wide from Your Eminence. the Archbishop, really establishing a warm relationship with him. We marched together on many issues of civil rights and on behalf of Greek Americans. And the relationship between the African American community and the Greek community goes as far back as one could imagine, even from the days of Dr. King and the Archbishop marching and standing with Dr. King. So there's a long relationship. And when you look at from Father Pappas in Brooklyn to my friends in many of the business communities, the Greek business community, those who are part of the Eagle Scouts that I attend many of the programs, the community is big on scouting, Boy Scouts, and using the church to really codify the strengths of their young people as they're growing up. And that relationship is a big one. My good friend Zoe in Brooklyn, who has been with me since my days at Brooklyn Borough Hall, they're just a host of Greek leaders. Elias out in Astoria, Queens. He has been with me throughout month journey. And so there are many names and businesses and organizations. Like each year, as board president, we honor Greek Americans at our Greek Heritage Days, and we continue that all the way into City Hall. We just had an amazing celebration of our Greek leaders, and we're going to continue to do that, and our relationship is going to continue to grow, and we're going to continue to learn from each other.
That's great to hear. It's so important for us to establish to our readers and our audience, just what kind of ties you have with the community and how you want to see them grow. So that's wonderful to hear. Mr. Mayor, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. I just want to get to one last topic.
Yes.
It's a hot button issue within the community, especially as you know, with the 50th anniversary of Cyprus, the invasion in Cyprus. I just wanted to ask. I know that there was, various things written. So I guess the best way to get anything is to ask the person themselves and not believe everything that you read. In my line of work, that's very important with editing and things. What sort of relationship, in addition to the Greek and the Cypriot community, what sort of relationship do you enjoy with the Turkish diaspora? And is it overplayed, the differences between the communities?
I believe is overplayed because let's be clear, the publications of today, for the most part, conflict sells. They say in your industry, if it bleeds, it leads. People don't want to just basically talk about the wonderful things because, unfortunately, our mind seems to be hardwired to get to clicks on things that are bad. That's why I love your publication because you try to cover the story based on the facts, not based on tilting it so that you can get a click on the story. My relationship with the Turkish community is equal to the relationship with the Greek community. I've been to Greece 2 times, just recently last year, a little over a year ago. So I have shown much love and admiration for the community. And what I have done throughout my entire career, not only as an elected official, but really as a public servant, I've stood with communities, and what plays on out on the international stage can find itself playing out on the streets of New York City in the neighborhoods. And you have to have a real balance because I'm the mayor for the entire city and standing with my Asian community to stop anti-Asian violence, standing with my Sikh community, standing with my Muslim community, my Jewish community. And I know the historical pains that the Greek community has. And you'll hear a different interpretation from the Turkish community. The best I can do with my two friends and my two communities that I consider to be friends is to respect their concerns and allow them the process of healing. Sometimes we have to go back to the past to heal for the future, and I can only encourage and be a facilitator for that, as I am the mayor of the city of New York.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, not only for that thoughtful response, the compliment you afforded our publications. We certainly do our best. And thank you so much for your time. And God bless you as you continue to serve the city.
Thank you. And God bless Greece. God bless America. And God bless this great city we call New York.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your
Thank,
time.
thank you. Take care.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
Hi.
All right.
Well, great. Thank you so much for that. That was just great.
Thank you so
Um,
much.
so what we'll do is we'll take this. I'm going to stop the recording. Hold on.